Hare Rama Guruji, you are unmuted now.
How many joined?
5 have joined, Guruji.
Okay. The great five are always there with us.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay.
Your voice is breaking, Guruji.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Purva Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Adi Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Moola Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Srimadananda Tirtha Bhagavat Padacharyebhyo Namaha. Om Veda Vyasaya Namaha. Om Bharatyai Namaha. Om Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Vayave Namaha. Om Brahmane Namaha. Om Lakshmyai Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Haraye Namaha. Om Vasudevaya Namaha. Abhramam Bhangarahitam Ajadam Vimalam Sada Ananda Tirthamatulam Bhajeta Patrayapaham. Now that you all have been hearing Tattvavaada classes for the last, how many days? Has it been 5 months, Prajna?
I think about 4 months or 3 months.
Oh, okay.
It's just around 4 months only.
4 months, okay. Although we have not taken up any one specific book and covered and kind of studied it thoroughly, still the intention of this course was to give a fair introduction to the English speaking crowd as to the whole as to the perspective of Tattvavaada. And that involves Pramana Jnana and Prameya Jnana. And speak of the truth, people have gradually deteriorated from those who knew Prameya and Pramana. So the first step of deterioration was that they forgot Prameya. They are no more in touch with the Prameyas. They settle down only to Pramanas. And today now we have reached a state wherein we are not even in touch with the pramanas. Is it what I'm saying? I don't understand.
There's a question, Guruji. Vishnu has asked, what do we mean by prameya?
Prameya, you would like to explain?
Sure, Guruji. So, prameya means that which is comprehensible or conceivable to us through our senses and mind and buddhi which we have, or something which we can.
It is basically all that you're dealing with in the real world.
Yes, Guruji.
Prameya means the reality. The pramana means through which you know, through which you understand what is what. Prameya means that which is to be known. It's like that. So how to deal with the world becomes prameya when you are dealing it with an awareness. See, you might be just if you're drunk, for instance, and say you are strolling down the road, then you are not engaging with the world around with awareness. So although you might be witnessing, you might be seeing things around, but you are not dealing with them as a prameya. You are just wading through it in your own fantasy. Most people are living life like that. They are just wading through life. They don't really live their life. When you live your life, when you're for example, you're doing a yajna. So the pramanas are, which are the pramanas for how to do the yajna? Vishnu, can you hear me?
He answered yes.
So now say you want to do, say, Ashwamedha Yajna. So how do you know how to do the Ashwamedha Yajna?
By Shrutis.
What did he say?
By the Shrutis.
Okay, by the Shrutis. Okay, so that means you are identifying the Shrutis as pramana. Now, which are the prameyas for Ashwamedha Yajna? Hello? Rajna, you think he heard me?
He answered no. He said objects of yajna.
Like you would like to could you name some?
Horse, Agnikunda, etc.
Did he say horse and Agnikunda?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. But that is only one level of prameyas. If you're going to do Ashwamedha Yaga, you need, of course, horse and all those things. It's a very huge setup. It's a very huge arrangement. But even with all that arrangement, there remains another world of prameyas. That is the devata that the yajna is intended to, is directed towards. That is another level of prameya. You are understanding that?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. So that is also in one sense prameya, because you're dealing with some dravya. Say the horse is going In the Ashwamedha Yaga, for every step that the horse takes, there is one ahuti that is supposed to be given in the yaga. So ahuti, what is ahuti? Now Veda is speaking ahuti. You need to know what is ahuti. How is the ahuti taken? How much is taken? When it is put? How it is put? With what mantra it is put? How much it is put? So that is all prameya.
Yes, Guruji.
And why only that much is put? Why in that way it is put? Addressing whom? To which devata it is put? So the nature of those devas and what pleases them and what doesn't, that also forms another level of prameyas. And prameya also involves why you should do it. The knowledge, nobody does anything like, will you go now to, like, will you book you may have the money and you may have the means for it, but will you book a ticket tonight or tomorrow to Norway and go there and settle down for 12 days?
No, Guruji. We need a reason for that.
You need a reason for that. You know, why are you doing that? Maybe say your son or your father or somebody is settled in Norway. So then you will have some reason to go there. Then there is some prasakti. So why are you doing the Ashwamedha Yaga? It's not that just for fun somebody will do Ashwamedha Yaga. So that's the knowledge of how to deal with the dravyas in the procedure of the yajna, and who is the procedure addressed to and why. So there it is the whole prameya jnana. And after you know all those prameyas, then how exactly the pramana is from the source from which
Your
you know
voice
it.
is breaking slightly, Guruji.
Is it better now?
Yes, Guruji.
So the prameya and pramana, these two are there. So our ancients knew both prameya and pramana. As time is passing by, the spirit is declining, and so awareness of prameya is gone. Now at least today we are left with pramana. We were people at least some 500, 600 or 400 years ago knew pramana. Not 400 years, sorry. Up to 1000 years ago, at least 1000, 2000 years ago, they knew pramana nicely. Prameya gone for toss. After recently, up to 1000 years, it was there, but then prameya went for toss. Then pramana was there. Pramana at least they knew. Now we are living in a time wherein even pramana is gone for toss. What do you think about my observation? You think it is agreeable or not?
Yes, Guruji.
So now we are struggling to at least keep up. At least prameya we can't handle. If you send today somebody some yajna vidhi will say that this is supposed to be procured. How many people can even recognize darbha? Forget all big prameyas. How many people even know what is darbha? How many people have kusha grass that is there, or darbha grass that is there, or different kinds of grasses? Or how many people even can go to the forest and identify that and bring? Or some vegetation, can go to the vegetation and identify that this is this and this is what we need for the yajna. People today, very few people even know what is Audumbara today. Next level is Audumbarim Sprshet. So you have to touch the Audumbari. So what changes happens to you when you touch the Audumbari? Nobody knows.
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
Isn't it the
So
same
we
case
are
even
living
with
in a very
Soma, Guruji?
constricted awareness. Huh?
Isn't it the same case even with the herb called Soma, Guruji?
Precisely, exactly. Soma is the it is the epitome of yajna, Soma Yaga. Now we don't know today what is Soma. You ask anybody what is Soma, nobody knows. So now, if you look at dictionary Soma, you will say moon Soma, but I am not saying that. Soma Lata. Now what nobody knows today what is Soma Lata. So when nobody knows, then somebody will say, I know this is Somalata, and but there is no precise way today that we are, although Soma, we engaged with Soma every, Trisavanam, in every day, 3 times Soma Rasa was being extracted. So Soma was a very plentifully available thing that everybody, every place, every king performed Soma Yaga. And in Soma Yaga, there is Pratas Savana, Madhyanika Savana, Sayam Savana. Anusavanam. Savanam was such a common thing that everyone was aware of, that if there is a prescription in, say, some Ayurveda, some Dharma Shastra will tell you that you have to take bath 3 times in a day. Then you know how they will say? Snatva anusavam. Every time, at the time of savana, you should take bath. That means, what does it say? At the time of savana, you should take bath. Means when Soma Rasa is being extracted, that time you should take bath. Means that doesn't mean you will go and look where Soma Rasa will be extracted in the Soma Yaga 3 times a day. So if somebody says you should take bath at every extraction of Soma Rasa, that means he is telling that you should take bath thrice in a day. Now, for example, if you come in the Bhagavata, how did Dhruva do his tapas in the forest? It says that Dhruva, after receiving guidance from Narada, he went to the forest alone, small boy, and all that he describes. And then it says, Snatva Anusavanam. He bathed 3 times a day. Anusavanam means every Soma extraction time he bathed. What does that mean? That means he bathed 3 times a day. Why I am telling this is so that you understand how familiar we were with Soma, that even to prescribe that you have to take bath 3 times a day, we used to say, take bath whenever the Soma juice extracted. Now that Soma juice, we don't know which is Soma Lata today. Isn't it?
Yes, Guruji.
Even in Ayurvedic, what do you say, how to make medicine formulations, even in Ayurvedic formulations, pharmacopoeia, Soma Lata is prescribed. Now today the doctors or the Ayurvedic pharmacy people don't know what is Soma Lata. So what will they do? They will have something called Pratinidhi Dravya. So like they will say Punarnava. Punarnava, if you don't get, you will use some other thing that looks like there will be some, every herb has a Pratinidhi Dravya. You can use as a replacement. So people are using as replacement, because even if somebody saw Somalata in front of his eyes, he would not recognize today, because nobody knows. Remember, it is not something like some Sanjeevani which only Hanuman brought, not like that. Somalata is something that everybody used. Means every Raja did Somayaga. So it was a very rampantly available and utilized, I don't know, herb or a creeper, it is Lata. But we don't know today what is Somalata. What I'm trying to communicate is that we are living in a very constricted awareness, identity, and scope of life. Very constricted, very narrowly defined by silly parameters. that has made us away from ourselves and the richness of life that actually we inherited. We have lost that. It is not lost for anybody. God didn't lose anything. We lost our richness. There is a richness to life. You are not supposed to live like a bastard. I mean, I'm not using some bad word. Bastard means that, like, as somebody who doesn't have anybody, like that. We are not, God has not made us bastards, but we have become bastard by choice. I started using this term bastardization back in 2009. So we need to be aware of this, that we are now today groping to hold on to even basic pramana jnana. Swam swamadvaram adiyanah. Madhvacharya mentions, it almost means like that. With that import, Madhvacharya is mentioning that in Kali Yuga, you will not be able to do things, but even if you can understand pramana jnana, pramaya jnana to gaya, pramana jnana, if you can at least hold on to some pramana jnana, that is your full perfection in Kali Yuga.
Yes, Guruji.
So that is why all of you have taken this call, and we are all like, Prajna is very diligently and sincerely conducting this. This will all lead us. These efforts are towards holding on to whatever little pramana jnana we can, and that will lead us to better. It is not that it is over. Don't think that. See, any science you take up, you will have a book like Reader's Digest, Mathematics Digest. So you want to be able to function in some work atmosphere, and you have an urgency to qualify to function in that level, so that you can earn a certain salary. But in this realm of self-actualization, wherein you are in seeking of your own truth, so there is no such urgency that in this life you have to finish everything. It's a Western disease that you have to finish everything suddenly. So I'm requesting all of you eager minds to get accustomed to this idea that it is okay to not finish. Krishna says, Aneka Janma Samsiddha. I'm not saying it is okay to not finish forever. I'm saying we have to set reasonable goals for our life. Why I'm saying this is because it's a Western disease. Western world, from there we have imported many diseases. One of such diseases is lack of patience. That we want to understand everything instantly. It doesn't happen. You have to sit with it for a long time. It's very difficult to sit with a problem. People want instant solution. But we have to learn to sit with a problem. Just be with it. Just being with that problem. You don't think that you will immediately find some solution. Just be with the problem. That will purify you. Be with the question. Stay with the question. That is the Indian mind. When Bhrigu asks, when Bhrigu asks Varuna, Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti, Hey, Bhagavan, tell me what is Brahman. I want to know what is Brahma. So Bhrigu replies, Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva. Sit with your question. You want to know Brahma. What is Brahma? What is the greatest context? What is the bigger context of everything? What is the root of everything? I will give you a generic definition of how to be with the question. Varuna merely helped them to sit with that question. For nearly 60 years or more, Bhrigu went and he sat with the question. And every time he thought he had found an answer, he came back and he reported to his guru, Varuna, who was also his father. And when he came and he reported, Annam Brahme Divyajanat Annadhyeva Kalvimani Bhutani Jayante. Varuna had given him a clue. How to sit with that question? I will give you one clue. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yasmin prayantyabhisamvishanti tad brahmeti. That is Brahma, from which everything has come, based on which everything lives, and into which everything at the end culminates. That is Brahma. Now you sit with this question and you reason and you get to it. You arrive at that answer. And Bhrigu says yes, and he goes and he sits with that question for 12 years. He sits or more, not less than 12 years. And he reasons and reasons and reasons. He sits with the question, Mathana. And he comes back after several years and he tells his father, Punareva Varunam Pitaram Upasasara. And he says, I have found Brahman. As per your direction, I have found Brahman. So Varuna told him, tell what you have found. And he says, Annam Brahme Divyajanat Annadhyeva Kalvimani Bhutani Jayante Yena Jatani Jivanti Yasmin Prayantyami Samvishanti. Everything comes from Anna. Everything stays dependent on Anna. And at the end, everything delineates and culminates into Anna. So, the Lakshana that you have told about Brahma, the Lakshana that you have told about Brahma tallies in Anna. It coincides with Anna. So, Annam Brahma, he comes and reports to his father. What should his father say? You are wrong. No, he didn't say that. He only said, sit with the question for a little more time. He said, any question, Prajna?
Rajashri has raised her hand.
Hare Rama Guruji.
Yes, Raj.
Yes, Guruji. What does Anna means?
Anna means that which is consumed as food, sustenance.
Oh, okay, that Anna. Okay, got it.
That Anna means not Sona Masuri rice.
Then?
Any food.
Yes,
Anything.
Guruji.
Anything consumed as food. For example, what is food for bacteria? That is Anna for it. Yasmai yadannam bhavati tattasmai annam bhavati. What is food for which? That is Anna for that. That is Anna. Atti yadadyate tadannam. What is consumed, that is Anna. What is consumed as food, that is Anna. In our language, we have reduced it to apply to only one rice.
So, how is it Brahman?
So, it is not merely rice. Any food is Anna. No, you may feel it is very simplistic. It is not simplistic. He had arrived at this. He is the brightest of the minds, Bhrigu. He has arrived at this. Don't think it is simple answer. It is a very profound observation. He has arrived at that after years of contemplation and deep meditation. And remember that he is searching for Brahma.
Yes,
Now
Guruji.
that is a whole different topic. That Bhrigu Valli of Taittiriya is a very deep topic. But I am not trying to teach you Bhrigu Valli here. What I am trying to tell you is that it is important to sit with the question.
Yes, Guruji.
So what happens? Bhrigu again goes back. And again he goes 12 years, 20 years, I don't know, several years. Huh? And then what happens? He comes back and he says, I have now found Brahma. Father, dear father, I found Brahma now. Father tells him, tell me what you have found. And he says, Prano brahmeti vyajanat pranadhyeva khalvimani bhutani jayante pranena jatani jivanti pranam prayanti abhisham vijanti. Prana is Brahma. So then again his father said, no, tapasa Brahma, you sit with the question still more, you will understand. And then he again goes, again several years of deep meditation, tapas, contemplation. Again he comes back. And like that he goes on and on and on. Vijnanam Brahme Mano Brahmeti Vyajanat Vijnanam Brahmeti Vyajanat. He is arriving at that after very solid contemplation. The kind of contemplation that even the best scientist of today's world is incapable of. But even after he comes back, Varuna tells him, this is not all, you need to sit with the question further. So then he arrives at the final thing. What is that final thing? We will see if we look into Taittiriya Upanishad. But the lesson that I am trying to tell you in today's, what is important in Tattvavaada is that you need to be able to sit. Churning is important. You know, Udupi Krishna is holding churning rod in his hand.
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
So that churning rod is holding, because that mathana, that happens only when you sit with a question. If you can't sit with a question, if you have not cultivated, you might have gone to the best gym in the world, you might have big triceps, biceps, but that I have seen huge bodied people also incapable of sitting with a question. It takes a greater strength to be able to sit with a question. Tasmat sarvatra jijnasitavyam. Madhvacharya says in Gita Bhashya. Athato brahma jijnasa tadvijijnasasva. So sitting with a question, to be able to sit with a question, that ability defines sadhana. If you are not able to sit with a question, you are in no way a sadhaka. Tam samprashnam bhuvanayantyanyaha. One of the names of God is Samprashna. The complete question. God's name. One of the names of God is, He is question. You understand? Prashna.
How, Guruji?
That you take your time. You sit with that question. Now you ask the question. Now how? You sit with that question.
Okay, Guruji.
Om Yonah Pita Dhama Aniveda Bhuvana Nivishwa Yo Devanam Namadha Eka Evatam Sam Prashnam Bhuvanayantanya Swasti. God is called as Samprashna because you can only approach. He is the question. Now you might be living in ignorance of God. How does He come to you? He comes to you in the form of a question. Okay. I'll leave you with that. You sit with that question. Why is God question? That itself is a question that you need to sit with.
Okay, Guruji.
So Tattvavaada introduction is not meant to be a closure of Tattva Jnasa, that we have now completed your awareness of Tattvavaada and there is nothing you need to know anymore further. That is not the kind of attitude with which this course is being conducted. This course is being conducted to make you recognize the importance of Tattva Jnasa. Am I right, Prajna? Is that the...
Yes, Guruji, definitely.
So that Tattva Jnasa, Jnasitavyam, that's a very rare, it has become a rare ability today. If somebody is inquiring into something, either he's after money or he's after something else. But to purely be a Tattva Jnanasu, it's a very, very rare thing today. Rarest indeed. So we are trying to inspire people to become Tattva Jnasus. Okay, I'll stop at that. We'll continue. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'll be able to join, depending on our situation. I'll but please, Prajna, please take the discussion forward. I will sign out. I will sign out now.
Okay, Guruji.
Yes, Sarvaguna Sampurnah, Sarvadosha Vivarjitah, Priyatam, Pritaye Valam Vittarme Varvaso, Sri Krishna Arpanamastu, Achyutaya Namah, Om Anantaya Namah, Govindaya Namah, Achyutaya Namah, Anantaya Namah, Govindaya Namah, Achyutaya Namah, Anantaya Namah, Govindaya Namah, Narayana, Narayana, Narayana.
Hare Rama, Guruji.
Hare Rama Guruji.
So if anyone has any queries or anything, you can ask now.
How God is the question.
So as said by Guruji, it's better if you all think about it for some time. Then we'll probably try discussing that tomorrow.
Okay, brother.
Any further queries?
Brother, does it mean that we try to find about God by questioning him that how is he God, who is he, like that?
Yes,
So
in a way.
in that way, we can say that God is a question.
Yes, definitely, because the very first sutra of the Brahma Sutras itself is Om Atha Brahma Jijnasa Om, which means the very starting itself says that now is the inquiry about Brahman, as to who is Brahman.
Yes, brother. Thank you.
Any other queries?
No, brother.
So we shall discuss a bit more tomorrow in the next session and about how about certain practices one should follow by which one can actually progress further in their sadhana and will also be able to obtain aparoksha jnana. So we shall continue tomorrow, and for now, as said by Guruji, please think about all these questions and we'll get back tomorrow. Shubharatri, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. And one more announcement. So that is on day after tomorrow, that is Monday, we shall be sharing the link for the second quiz for the course, and then subsequently we shall also share the link for the third quiz, and that shall be the final one. So unlike what we had previously stated, there is a change. This course will not have 4 quizzes. This shall have 3 quizzes, and it shall totally have 75 points, of which one should score at least 38 points to qualify for the certificate. So we shall be sharing the link soon, and the syllabus for the quizzes remains the same, especially the 5th adhyaya and the of the Vishnu Purana 6th amsha, the 5th, 6th and 7th adhyayas, which we had mentioned previously. We shall include some more parts of them which we hadn't included in the previous quiz, and also we shall include contents about the topics we discussed recently about the Haridasas and the different gurus of the Madhva Sampradaya. So for information about them, one can search upon the internet itself. There are many blogs which mention a lot about them, and especially there is a website called sumadvaseva.com, So sumadhwa.com. So there you can find a lot of information about almost all of the Haridasas and the sannyasis. So that shall be sufficient. So any further queries?
Brother, how will you be sharing the certificate?
They shall be sent to your email address.
Okay, brother.
That is once we finish all the quizzes and the scoring, and those who are eligible initially will be informed in the group, and anyone else who hasn't got the required amount of points can retake the quiz later, and that shall be valid till this August.
Okay, brother.
So in another few more sessions in the upcoming weeks, we shall also be completing this course, and we shall also have a few sessions for any doubts, and then we shall be issuing the certificates as well.
Okay, brother.
Any queries?
Hare Rama, brother.
Hare Rama.
Brother, after the completion of this course, is there any plan to conduct some other course as well for those who want to pursue Tattvavaada further?
We haven't planned any specific courses as such for now, especially for in the near future. We aren't planning anything, but we are working on few books which we are going to release, and those will cover more about Tattvavaada in general, and about some more information which we may not have been able to share in this course itself. And more than that, as we have said, one should read up the Shastras, especially the ones like the Vishnu Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Mahabharata, and the works of Acharyas. So, and along with that, one should also learn Samskrita for that. That is actually a must. So, more so, one can pursue that through the books which we are, some of which we are publishing on our websites also. And furthermore, on YouTube will be continuing to post content, and we shall be making posts on our blog also. So there too one can refer to them for additional knowledge here and there.
Understood, brother. Hare Rama.
Any further queries?
No, brother.
So we'll end the session here for tonight, and we shall have the next session tomorrow at 8 p.m. Hare Rama, Shubharatri, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Achyutaya Namaha, Om Anantaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha, Om Achyutantam Devyo Namo Namaha.
Hare Rama,
Hare
brother.
Rama.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, brother.
Shubharatri.